This is actually called Mike Lotus.
Mike Lotus.
Mike Lotus.
I do think that this is because I am currently in Mexico.
Yep.
At an undisclosed location.
At the
undisclosed villa.
So no one
Mexico.
can find you?
Yeah. Zach Lowe's on the hunt looking for me.
Yep.
But I think this is the first time we're doing an international podcast.
Well, I certainly haven't been anywhere out of the country.
No, I've never. Or did we do a podcast when I was in Mexico City?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
Not when you were in Japan.
Not Japan, not on the honeymoon.
Not on the honeymoon.
But Mexico City, I went once for a bachelor party, once for a wedding, and I can't remember if we did a podcast.
I've never been in Canada doing the pod.
No.
Yeah.
Mike, you forgot your uniform for the...
I know, I'm liking this. I'm liking this.
It was complete. I signed on and I was like, oh, no.
I saw you guys realize it. It was beautiful.
Oh, man.
Weather seems nice by you?
It's really nice. It was very hot. It was very hot at the wedding and at the beach and everything. And it's one of my friends getting married is Filipino, and so I was in the wedding and I had to wear a traditional Filipino barong,
which is what?
Which is like a dress shirt.
Okay.
And boy, that by the end of the night, that thing was
sticky,
real wet, real wet. But it's very nice. We had a very nice time. I'm pretty busted right now. I'm glad I'm sitting far enough back that my face and the sunkenness of my eyes are not visible to the camera.
No, with the light behind you, it darkens you a little bit. It looks like you're being interviewed. You're giving like secrets about the mob.
Yes, good. TJ, can you put us in the circles for a second? I just want to see what it looks like.
Oh, God, that's
Don't leave it in the circles, though. That's the fucking rule. Do not.
Circles pod.
Looks fucking terrible.
Circles.
It's too much negative space.
Yeah. Look at this.
No. Turn it off. Looks fucking terrible.
I love a design that just like there's
no reason for it.
There's complete lack of utility of this of this type of thing.
Zero. Let's give them circles. It's like, why? Well, we can do it.
Beautiful.
The Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast is presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Sign up for DraftKings Sportsbook by using promo code RTRS and brought to you by Big Barker Therapeutic Dog Beds. Get yours at bigbarker.com/Ricky. You get the Process Pup patches. Kornblau and Kornblau, the official law firm of the Process, and LL Pavorsky Jewelers, where Rights to Ricky Sanchez listeners go and get engaged. On the show today, the Sixers stand alone in the 5th spot. Boy, does that feel good. Also, some suggestions from listeners about the lottery party, and we will do the Rig It rankings, in which we go through every team in the lottery and think about why the NBA would or wouldn't rig it for that team to win it and see where we stand. I've mentioned this before, and this is the last time I'll mention it, actually, until I think maybe I'll do a podcast there. Next weekend, I am spending 24 hours in a kennel with a shelter dog at St. Hubert's to raise money for it. I will sleep there in the kennel. I believe Big Barker is sending me a bed to sleep on with the dog. My wife has worked there for 3 years and is leaving because we're moving back home, and this is her last event. But St. Hubert's got a scotchy and does great work. So I am doing that to raise money. I've raised, I think, $2,600, and the goal is $5,000. We will put the link in the description of this pod. I will go live from the kennel.
It sounds like your wife is leaving and she's leaving you there.
Leaving me in the kennel?
And that's that. So hopefully somebody adopts you.
Well, I told her, after she asked me, and of course I said yes, and this is the first time she's ever asked me to do anything for any of the shelter stuff she does. And she was like, I realized after 2 weeks, I was like, wait a minute, I'm sleeping in the kennel with the dog? And she said, yeah. I was like, how am I going to fit? And she's like, oh, it's one of the bigger ones. But it's still a kennel for a dog. Yeah, so.
You're going to love it.
Yeah, I'm sure. So any donations would be absolutely appreciated. We'll put the link in the description to this pod. And Lottery Party, we'll talk about this more. Lottery Party and Live Ricky 6, May 12th at Franklin Music Hall with Gershon Yabusele.
Wow.
There are regular tickets and there are VIP tickets, as there always are. The ticket sales will benefit Providence Animal Center and Mama T's Community Fridge. The pre-sale, and we'll put the link in all of this. We'll put the links in the description of the pod. But the pre-sale is Thursday, this coming Thursday, April 3rd at 10 a.m. Pre-sale password is August. And the regular on sale is Friday, April 4th at 10 a.m. There is no password to that, but we hope to see you there. We never thought we would do it again, but we might as well have a good time if we have to do it anyway. Without any further ado, Amos and the chef.
We were right, y'all. We were right. Even when it went wrong, we were right. We was right, y'all. We were right. So say the name. Say the name. We were right, y'all. We were right. Even when it went wrong, we were right. We were right, y'all. We were right. So say the name. Say the name. Say the name.
Welcome to the Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast. I'm Spike Eskin, along with a guy doing the pod from the set of White Lotus Season 4. That is Mike Levin.
Here we are, baby. Let's see if I die.
Mike actually in Mexico for a wedding at an undisclosed location, not the set of White Lotus 4, though that's what it sort of looks like. So enjoying yourself. Do you want to give a happy wedding to whoever got weddinged?
Happy wedding, Laura and Tina. It was good last night. I drank a lot. I'm pretty busted this morning.
There you go.
Gonna go to the beach. But first, we got to talk about the Sixers.
Oh, sure we do. The Sixers eliminated from the playoffs officially for the first time since 2016-2017, which is pretty amazing when you think about it. They made the playoffs for 7 straight years. Let's give them a hand for doing it.
Oh, the bar. The bar. Where has it gone?
All right. So the game against the Heat. First of all, I will say this again. I do feel pretty bad for the guys currently playing for the Sixers because it doesn't take much for the other team to be good enough for these Sixers to almost have no chance whatsoever. And they are playing harder, and I would say playing more, quote, the right way than our Sixers did at any point this year. Like, they're not good passers. Well, they're not good. They're not like good at passing generally, most of them, but they're passing like at the right times and they're moving around the right way and all those sorts of things. And I feel bad that they actually have absolutely almost no shot at all of winning any games. Like the Heat have barely won games over the last month, and they had no chance of beating the Heat. It didn't feel like at any point during this game, maybe the first minute. So I do feel bad for them.
No, I mean, they are passing the ball and moving it, and I think that's why the beginning of this season felt so stuck in the mud, is because everyone was just standing there and the ball wasn't moving.
Right.
And I just read, while I was on the toilet, AU's article about Justin Edwards.
Yeah, so the title of it just came out an hour before this pod. And
Perfect toilet read.
Yeah, I don't, since AU is the editor-in-chief of the site, I do not see his stuff before it goes out. And the title of it is Justin Edwards is going to be better than Paul George next year.
I love it.
Which I love.
This is a classic. This whole year has been August, so this is the kind of August posting you need to be doing.
Yep, we're back in our bag.
But I thought it was a compelling read. Obviously, it's a negative look at Paul George, but if I could look at the Paul George that he is now, it makes me think I wish that he was just doing the Justin Edwards stuff, but better.
You wish Paul George was doing the Justin Edwards stuff.
Yeah, because Justin Edwards is really simplifying the game.
Yes, he is.
And
2 dribbles to the basket when he dribbles. Like everything is quick and to the point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very decisive. And I thought he was great last night. He's been great for weeks now.
Yep.
Even when the shot doesn't fall, and it's been falling lately, but like he plays hard. He always like gets another extra opportunity in the offensive glass. He moves the ball well. He's not like supremely great at anything, but being 6'6" and long and willing and having a good head on your shoulders, like he's just playing good basketball in both ways. And I'm very optimistic that he could be part of a successful Sixers team, or maybe not the Sixers, but some successful team in the future.
Yeah, I agree with you. And he's been, and I will say, I think almost from the beginning, Justin Edwards looked like he was going to be able to be a contributor. He popped right away. And it's not like, it's interesting because he doesn't pop for any particular way other than he understands how to play basketball.
Yep.
He's a good enough athlete, but he's not an outstanding athlete.
Yep.
He's a good enough shooter, but he's not a knockdown killer shooter. He's like, he doesn't do any one thing, I would say, outrageously well that makes him stand out. But what does stand out for him is what you brought up, is that he just does everything quick to the point, and he seems like he understands the game really, really well, especially for a guy as young as he is.
Yeah. I mean, undrafted guy, 1 year at Kentucky, comes back home and is immediately, like, not immediately, but has AU made the point that if he had played more games this season, he would be on all rookie teams, and I think that's correct. It's a good find. It's a really good find for the organization, and it's a kudos to Edwards that he's made himself into a better player as the season's gone on and played at NBA speed, because he's not that athletic and he's not that fast on an NBA scale, but he's just very capable, and I think his upside is limited by the fact that he's not that athletic or fast, and as a shooter is just okay, but that doesn't mean he can't be like extremely useful. And on the Paul George side of the AU article, it's like, man, obviously he can hit a bunch of tough shots, but you just don't. It's my whole basketball ethos is like, you shouldn't have to
hit tough shots.
You shouldn't have to hit tough shots.
Yeah.
Your offense shouldn't be predicated upon hitting tough contested 19-footers with a hand in your face. I would much rather. My hope is, and we're sort of straying from the Heat game, although who gives a shit. My hope is that Nick Nurse is looking at this season and not going like, oh, okay, it was all ruined by injuries.
Yeah.
It was all, it never had a shot. I need to do nothing different. I hope that he's looking at this going like, okay, they should have survived those first 20, 30 games more. And the fact that they didn't, I think, is partly because of how stagnant the offense looked, regardless of who was in there. And more guys like Justin Edwards and less like mindset the way Paul George had, although also Maxey and Embiid when they were there, of just like holding onto the ball, of like going isolation, of everybody else standing there. Like, you just need more movement, and that's why this team has been, in the context of what do they lose by 23?
Yeah, easier to watch, I would say.
An easier watch on a 23-point loss, obviously because you're not invested in the outcome, but it's nice to watch them. Like, they're moving around, they're flowing. Like, there's a flow to basketball when they're playing as well. They can't defend for shit, but they are at least moving the ball in a way that is aesthetically pretty nice.
Well, and you would have to wonder, that is the whole difficult question about Nick Nurse, is they're doing it now. These guys are listening. Why weren't the other guys listening? Yep. Or was he not trying it? Or what was going on? Like there's nobody was happy. Embiid wasn't happy. Maxey wasn't happy. Paul George wasn't happy. Nobody was happy. Well, Paul George just, I don't know.
Whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
He hadn't really gotten his bearings enough to decide. But I think it's honestly your point. I think it was more of a Doc Rivers style offense the first part of the season, of like, okay, true hierarchy.
Yes.
You're let your big dogs eat, and everybody else can get out of the way or deal with it. And Nick Nurse last year, that's why I was so excited about him and his partnership with Joel, because Joel's just, like, passing improved drastically on that first season of Nick Nurse. And
yes, absolutely.
This was a really disheartening on the Joel level, obviously, for several reasons, but for the rest of the team, it's like they just looked like they had no set plays, no bread and butter. Like the occasional, obviously, like ATO that looked good, or some type of set play at the beginning of a quarter or something. But as far as what do we normally do, they look better now than they did before. Like it's at least visually, they obviously have worse players now. But
and the last thing on Justin Edwards, and you mentioned, not an excellent shooter. And there's no reason why he can't become a better shooter. By the way, however, what is he? 20 years old. He can. I'm glad that he's coming from a place where he's at least a good shooter. Which and there are many times where guys have come from worse than good shooter to become. Excellent shooter. So, he has the same. He's got the possibility of young guy arc, right? He's not 25. He's not a finished product. So he can get better. believe it or not.
Well,
And
it's also the quickness, the decisiveness is not just with the ball in his hands, but it's also with like how ready he gets his feet to shoot before the ball even gets there.
Yep.
And he gets that up quick and he shoots it high. Those are all really good signs for him being a positive, impactful player as a role player for a while.
The Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast brought to you by Big Barker Therapeutic Dog Beds. I mentioned.
Big old Barker.
I think. What's that? What are you saying?
I just said big old Barker.
Big old Barker. I will probably be sleeping on a Big Barker next weekend as I sleep with a stranger dog. Also, I'm going to be in the kennel with the dog. If I fall asleep, what if this dog decides he doesn't like me?
So you're in the kennel with another dog.
Yes. Well, with another dog. I am not a dog. So just
Right.
with a dog.
Well, I think you, for all intents and purposes, you are a dog for
that moment.
For this
Yes.
moment, yeah.
Yeah. So I will be sleeping on the Big Barker. And look, I couldn't ask for anything more comfortable because a Big Barker is a real bed, unlike other dog beds you see, which are not real beds. There's glorified pillows, looks cushy, whatever. You don't want to sleep on it. You want a bed that's going to support your joints. And that's what Big Barker does for your dog. Go to bigbarker.com/Ricky, bigbarker.com/Ricky. You'll learn all about the Big Barker. You also get 2 Process Pup patches when you go there, like this one. This is a black and white one. You also get a red, white, and blue one. You also get some stickers. You put the patch on the bed, iron it on, very easy. Send a picture of your dog on the bed with the patch, Process Pup, officially, all that. That is great. The patches, free stuff, all great. But the best thing is you are doing something really good for your dog, keeping your dog healthier, keeping your dog happier. Penn Vet did a study on the Big Barker, showed all the things that we talk about here. Improvement in gait, reduction in joint stiffness, reduction in pain severity, improvement in joint function, all those things. As your dog sleeps a fuck ton. Dogs sleep a lot, and they have joints just like you do. I would argue more joints. Don't do the math, but I would argue even more. And as they get older, right. What's that?
I think that sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds right. As they get older, like their joints get stiff, they develop arthritis just like we do. And a Big Barker is going to help push off the effects of that. So if your dog is young, start them early. If your dog is older, starting to get creaky joints, it could help them out. All different sizes, all different colors, the Big Barker. From the little one, the Barker Jr., all the way up into the one that I'll sleep on, which will be an XL. There is a 10-year warranty. The foam doesn't flatten or they'll replace it for free. A 1-year at-home trial. If you don't like it, fine. I disagree, but fine. They'll give you a full refund and even pay for the shipping back. Handmade in the USA. Big Barker dog beds.
Love bark.
Other thing from the game, you got to take the positives from this year. One is, you had mentioned that AU said if Justin Edwards got more minutes, he'd be on an all-rookie team. If this year hadn't gone to shit, he wouldn't have gotten any minutes.
Yeah.
Probably not. So the Bona minutes, I think, have been good as well as he's come back from injury. He looked awesome last night, both offensively and defensively. I know you like Jared Butler, and he hadn't done much for me, but he is the best passer on the team, and he can throw a fucking lob. And seeing Adem Bona catching lobs from Jared Butler was really kind of nice. Bona blocked a few shots. Like, I don't know, it seems like even in the short time he's been in the league, he is learning. Like, it feels like he learns quickly. The foul trouble not quite as often or as quickly as early in the year. So it was fun watching Bona and fun watching Jared Butler as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's always fun when Jared Butler was 4 from deep.
When he's making threes.
I just believe in the shot. Like, it looks good. I saw him hit a fucking million of them at Baylor. The distance is maybe a little toughy, but like the way he shoots in the corner, most of his threes were in the corner last night, and I think that maybe helps range wise. But yeah, I mean, 19 and 10 on 12 shots. With Bona, he's had a really good rookie season in those limited minutes. He's played 50 games, but only like parts of it. Really, what is he in minutes on the team? Because he had that sprained ankle. Yeah, he's 11th on the team in minutes. He's actually played fewer minutes than like Andre Drummond and Quentin Grimes, which feels bizarre and not the way it should have been.
Yeah.
But numbers wise, like his true shooting percentage is 71%. He's getting to the line a lot. He shoots it pretty decent from the line for a rookie. He rebounds the hell out of the ball. His box percentage is up, and he is second on the team to Chuma Okeke. Obviously, Chuma is not a part of the team long term, but it did make me satisfied. But as far as win shares per 48, Bona is leading the like regular
section,
and that's super small sample size and doesn't mean that much. But usually when guys are that young, they don't the advanced stats take a while to catch up with them actually being impactful. And the fact that he's passing the eye test and the numbers test as just what you need him to be a backup center. It's not going to be more than that. You're not asking him to be more than that. It's a really good sign for a rookie year. And that's the thing we've talked about over the course of the season. There's just been a lot of little bright spots. And the bigger things that you expected to be bright spots are very dark as it gets.
Yeah.
But there's a lot to like. And yeah, Bona, like that two-handed block last night was sick. Couple nice lobs from Butler that he caught and put down. I mean, it's great. I might, in the last day of the semifinals of my fantasy league, I might be picking up Adem Bona tonight.
Wow.
There's a chance.
Wow. You against Legs, right?
No. Legs and John are in the
Okay.
fight. I'm still trying to put down Zach Berman.
Okay, good.
Close one.
Yeah. Is the thing about Ricky Council...
The little pregnant pause before we talk about Ricky every time.
Well,
we both want to really like the experience and really enjoy and believe that there's a future there. But I don't think that either of us actually do.
No, I don't. But I will say this. When he is only doing... This was the B-ball Paul thing. When he's only doing the things that make him good, he is... Like when he's only attacking... That was what we liked about him last year. Like he was attacking offensive glass, but even like on breaks and in half court, and when he's only attacking and he's only being physical and energetic and all of those things, I could see a guy that could hang around the league for a while. And last night was a pretty good example of that. I don't like when he's shooting. I don't want to see any of that. But he is watchable when he's only doing the things that he can do well.
What do you think he's shooting from three on the year?
35%.
Oh, buddy. If he was shooting 35%, we'd be having a different conversation. 26.7.
Oh, wow. Wow.
But he's always been a good free throw shooter, which is why the tantalizing hope that he could one day become
a 3-point shooter. It doesn't look good.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
It really doesn't. You just want him to, I mean, I've said this before, but you just want him to like watch tape of Josh Hart and just try to emulate that. Like just be a more athletic Josh Hart. But he always just wants to get in there and try shit. The guy just loves to try shit.
Yeah. He loves to
can't help
cook
it.
like B-ball Paul did.
But I just feel like the benefit of him like occasionally getting sent down to the G League to play is he should go to the G League, get that out of his system, and then come up here. Now, obviously in a season that doesn't matter or whatever, but in a season when you're trying to prove that you deserve an NBA roster spot, be like so disciplined as a player and then go to the G League and fuck around. And then here they're like, I'm not allowed to shoot. I'm just dribble handoff. I'm just attacking the offensive glass every time. Like somebody else gets a hot potato. I'm not going to ruin my 3-point percentage. Like I want you to be like rigorous. And he's just vibing, dude. This is Ricky. He wouldn't be Ricky otherwise.
Yeah. It's probably not going to be
I
a
don't
thing.
think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Kind of a bummer. So as I mentioned, anything else on the Heat game? I didn't see much else.
Yeah, I mean, a couple really nice Quentin Grimes moves that you just saw. Like that's cool. That would be nice. Imagine if he's the like fifth, like the least guarded player on a court,
right,
with everybody else healthy. Like that would be nice. That would look good.
I have decided I am firmly in I don't think he's as good as you and MOC think he is. I'm firmly in that camp. I would like to have him on the roster. There was a good article. I don't know if you probably didn't read it, considering what that you're away this weekend. There was I think it was in The Athletic, just about free agency in general. And there was one of the guys talking to an agent, saying the agent like kind of sees an NBA, at least this particular offseason, an NBA like free agency recession, he called it. And that next offseason will probably be different. But the number of teams, we've said it a bunch of times, it's really only the Nets who have cap space. I think the Pistons to a lesser extent. Yeah. And everybody is terrified of the second apron. So it's a very bad year to be a restricted free agent, which could help the Sixers. I think we tend to overestimate what the players we want to keep are going to get in free agency anyway.
Well, I think Korkmaz is still bargaining for a $12 million.
$12 million a year. Yeah. But we did it early in the season with Yabusele, and I think we're probably doing it with Grimes now. I would like to have Grimes on the roster, not at any cost, but I would like to have Grimes on the roster. I don't think he is the sort of player that the Nets are going to overspend on. It just doesn't feel like that's what it is. So
That would be nice.
yeah. And
they have, I mean,
you
they-
wonder,
they-
last thing, you wonder if he might, given that next free agency might be better, you wonder if he might do a 1-year deal.
A 1+1 type.
Yeah, to get into free agency next year.
That'd be interesting. If you're the Sixers, you kind of don't want to do that. You would
No,
kinda rather.
but it's better than losing him, I think, right?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, I mean the Nets. It becomes like, who else do they want? Who else are they going to try to throw
Yeah.
money at? What is their plan? I think a lot will depend on the lottery, and this will blend nicely into the Nets winning last night, which was beautiful. The Nets held on to Cam Johnson all season, and they're paying him $20 a year.
Mm-hmm.
And if they then do that with Quentin Grimes also, then it becomes like, okay, so what? You're sort of still building a house without a foundation.
Yep.
And so I do wonder if I'm Grimes' agent, I'd be like, we could go there. He deserves it. They could throw money there. And if I'm the Sixers, then I'm like, I don't think that they will. I don't think that they're going to try to blow the budget just to fuck with us, although maybe. But if I'm the Nets, I'm probably not throwing. I mean, maybe you're just trying to assemble like good role player value deals like they have with Cam. But I don't know. It's hard to figure out the market for all these guys. I do agree with you that Yabusele has gone down, at least in when he was being like, oh, he's the perfect, role player, youngish role player with a big body and fresh legs. It was exciting. It was exciting to think about him being like, oh man, maybe he gets a big offer, but now I don't think that's going to happen anymore.
Well, and remember, everybody who appears at a live Ricky ends up not here anymore.
Well, eventually, that's long
Yeah.
enough. We outlast everybody, I think is.
That's a good point.
Elton's still here.
That is a really good point.
Scott's still here.
He was not. They were not announced guests. They were both surprise guests. So maybe the key is to be a surprise guest.
All right, so everyone pretend you don't know.
Yeah. So as we mentioned at the top, the Sixers sit alone with the Nets win last night in the 5th spot. The Sixers closer to number 4 than they are to number 7, as Toronto has won 3 in a row. So the Sixers are a half game ahead of the Nets.
That's beautiful.
Tied in the loss column, unfortunately, which is not where you want to be. But wait, or do you want to be in the loss column on this one?
You want to be tied in the loss column.
Loss column, right?
Yes. This way
it's very confusing this way. Yeah. So the Sixers at 23-51, alone in 5th. The Nets a half game back at 24-51. Then the Nets at 27-47. The New Orleans Pelicans 20-54. Sixers just 3 games out of that 4 spot.
And do you know who the Pelicans play today?
Who?
The Hornets. I was really gearing up for the Wizards, but it's the Hornets. So somebody's got to win that game too.
Yep.
And they're only a game and a half away from each other. So I think today could end.
Yep.
Sixers Raptors. Hopefully the Raptors handle business. I think RJ Barrett's going to play. They could be 2 games out of the 4 spot after.
That
would be something.
That'd be big. Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast brought to you by that'll be later. Brought to you by Kornblau and Kornblau, official law firm of the Process. You heard it on the last pod. That guy went to Kornblau when he got T-boned. His daughter was very impressed with Kornblau. She was only 10. Look, little kids, they only tell the truth. Like, little kids don't lie at all. If a little kid is impressed, then you should be impressed as well. Kornblau and Kornblau. If you are injured in any way and it's somebody else's fault, are we talking medical malpractice? Kornblau. Are we talking injured in a car accident? Kornblau. Are we talking, slip and fall? Kornblau. Talking injured at work? Kornblau. Kornblau. And you're going to go to Kornblau not only because that guy's daughter was so impressed, but because you're going to be impressed. Mm-hmm. Because you are going to deal directly with him. You're not going to be, shuffled off to some other law firm that can actually practice law in your state. No, you're going to deal directly with Kornblau, a guy who is passionate, who is a great communicator, who will come to you if necessary, even though they have offices all over the Delaware Valley. He's aggressive, smart, very handsome, not that tall, but he has everything else. and also was a counselor at the camp that Mike went to.
True. Correct.
When he was a kid. If you think you have a case in any of these, and they've got some of the biggest awarded some of the biggest results in Southeastern PA, you can't go to anyone else. Just go to Kornblau. It doesn't cost you anything. 215-576-7200. Ask for Adam, or email kornblau@kornblauandkornblau.com. Kornblau and Kornblau, the official law firm of the process.
Last thing on the Nets. Did you see how they won the game?
I did not.
A roll to the rim from Drew Timme, who played. You know who that is? Drew Timme?
No.
Okay, he was a big college basketball player at Gonzaga.
Okay.
And it was his second game ever of his career.
And he hit a game-winning shot.
He hit a game-winning shot, not like buzzer beater, but game-winning shot to beat the Wizards. And I'm just so grateful to him. That is Drew Timme.
Yes.
Like if the Sixers end up getting the pick and they end up finishing the season one game worse than the Nets, or better in the direction that we wanted to be, Drew Timme maybe is a Muscala level for me for that moment.
Wow. Well, and amazing for him to hit a shot like that the organization almost certainly does not want him to hit.
Know. Yeah. You're playing the Wizards. Somebody has to win. And the players, as we know, as we've always said, throughout the history of this podcast, tanking is not a players thing. They want to win. They're all playing very hard, and they are mad when they lose. Coaching staff is a little bit on they're sort of morally gray as the game goes on.
Yes. And you have to remember, we're the only team, every team wants better odds. Like in this situation, it's way different for the Sixers considering the protections on the pick.
Yeah.
So it's a big deal for all the teams, but I would say it's probably a bigger deal for the Sixers at this particular point.
There are other teams that have lottery protections. Like Miami has a lottery protected pick, as do Portland and Charlotte, Washington, Utah. But the being on the cusp of losing it in such a down season, like the stakes. If you look at the lottery, the stakes for the Sixers are the highest. The highest by
far.
Yeah.
Also, we're going to get Cooper Flagg. I was thinking about it.
Whoa.
We had KOC on the radio show on Friday, and we were I just asked him about Cooper Flagg, and I just like hearing him describe Cooper Flagg. I was just like, we need this fucker, man. Yeah. We need this fucker. So lottery party.
You should watch get excited. You should watch Cooper Flagg highlights against Arizona in the Sweet 16.
That the 36-point game from the other night, from Thursday night. Yeah,
he made some crazy plays, some just truly insane stuff, and he really fit beautifully onto this team in so many ways.
Well, it also seems like he is the one guy in the draft that you're pretty much sure is a like franchise changer, whereas there can be other good players, but it seems like the difference between 1 and 2 is much different than the difference between like 2 and 5 in this draft.
I would lump Dylan Harper in there. He's
the definite number 2.
Yeah. He has fewer. Cooper Flagg, the kind of player he is, fits anywhere, whereas Dylan Harper, you kind of have to hand over the keys.
Yep.
And let him work through figuring stuff out, whereas Cooper Flagg is kind of the perfect level of he can just be a role player right away and just make a bunch of shit happen, and then as his career goes on, he just takes on more and more responsibility, which is exactly what you'd want for the Sixers right now, where he could fit in, say miracle strikes and Embiid and Paul George are back to their regular selves next year. Flagg at the 4 is perfect. It's just truly like you wouldn't pick anything else to be right there. And then as they decline or as they fall off entirely, then you can say, okay, Maxey McCain Flagg, that is the core.
So we'll all watch it together. The lottery party, May 12th at Franklin Music Hall, formerly the Electric Factory. Mm-hmm. Pre-sale is Thursday, 10 a.m. Password is August.
We're playing it again.
We're playing Franklin Music Hall again. Excuse me, I didn't bring up any water, and I'm dying here. The pre-sale is Thursday at 10 a.m. Password is August. Regular on sale Friday, 10 a.m. GA is $25. The VIP is $100. You get a picture. You get seat up front, a picture with Yabusele afterwards, a commemorative item, and all the ticket sales. Remember, go to Providence Animal Center and Mama T's Community Fridge. So the way it'll go is the lottery itself is at 8 p.m. The live Ricky will be after the lottery. And before the lottery, motherfucker, at 7:30, we were talking about this last time, Mike wanted to do an onstage sort of where I suggested it was a good idea for Mike to do an onstage lottery explainer. So as we're watching it, we know how to feel as it happens.
Because there's no worse thing. And
Than
I get frustrated, and I think you do as well, with like lack of efficiency,
Yes.
lack of like cohesion.
Yes.
And so when we're there, I want everyone to know exactly what is supposed to happen, what would happen if if everything goes in order as expected, like
Chalk.
if it goes chalk, and then immediately when you see a logo that is not chalk, we want
How
to
we're
know,
supposed to
we
feel.
want everyone to know what that means right away.
Yes. And sometimes everybody decides on something that we hadn't planned on, like cheering for Vlade Divac, which happened at Buffalo
organic.
Wild Wings. Organic. But so we got this email from Jack to Rights To Ricky Sanchez at gmail.com. Jack said, on the last pod, you had mentioned that you want someone to explain what teams to root for as the lottery picks are unveiled. Specifically, you mentioned making the poster board as a key part of this. I would like to volunteer to make the poster board and do a pre-lottery explanation. I feel like I would be a great candidate for several reasons. One, I already did this. At the 2017 lottery, I was on my phone looking at the order and screaming out the correct rooting order before each pick. All of the strangers in my yelling radius at Xfinity Live appreciated this, and I believe it added to their experience.
I like the confidence of saying all the strangers appreciated this. It's
Yes.
very
Yep.
good. The certainty with which all the strangers
Now,
nearby
I
enjoyed
would
the
have.
screaming.
I would have appreciated
Absolutely.
it. Yes. Number two, I am a high school teacher and basketball coach. I know how to explain things in a simple but complete way that people with a range of intelligence and context knowledge can understand. Number three,
Just give me an example of a range of intelligence.
Right.
It goes from what to what?
well, do you want it in people or do you want it in
Just from
from kind of dumb to really smart?
that's it.
Right? I have also led spirit assemblies and pep rallies at our school. I can bring enthusiasm and hype, and I have no problem speaking in front of a large audience comfortably. We'll handle the hype. Okay?
I'm already cringing.
Yeah, settle down. We can handle that part. As a teacher, I know how a lesson or presentation could go wrong if it is not prepared.
Yes.
Rather than winging it, I will have a very prepared way of explaining things with audience interaction.
Yes.
I like the preparation. Mike knows I like that. 5, I will even do a short practice run of how the lottery will turn out and rehearse with the audience and what a reaction should be. I'm a Ricky Lottery Party OG. I was at the first one at Miller's Ale House.
Wow.
The second one at Buffalo Wild Wings. The pick swap one at Xfinity Live. I also went on Fly the Process to Indiana.
Wasn't that New Year's?
It was New Year's.
Okay,
Yep.
so this guy's legit.
Yeah, he's a sicko. Yeah. And that was a great Fly the Process, by the way. And shout out TJ McConnell. And finally, if you would prefer, I can film myself making a YouTube video as sort of an audition tape. Just give me a shot. If you like what you see, I can do the explainer on stage at the lottery party. If not, I'll just be in the audience.
No,
Mike,
this email was the audition.
yeah, Mike,
The email was the audition
I propose this guy do it with you.
in there.
Yeah. So you say yes to this
Yes.
guy. Yeah. Okay. John, you're in.
We love teachers. Let's go.
You better make good poster board on
Take
this.
us to school. Yeah, I want the poster board to be legit.
Well, you're
if-
going to be
and-
on stage in front of like probably 1,000 people. Actually,
CJ is saying his name is Jack. His email is John, but the signature is Jack.
well, Jack Fritz's real name is John.
Right.
Yeah.
He goes by Jack
Yeah, he goes
based on
by
how he
Jack.
signed the email.
Yes, he signed the email, Jack. But yes,
So I
the
think
email was
also
from
if Jack could involve the students in making the poster board, so it feels like there's extra credit or something. I think that would be nice.
Well, and here's the other thing we can do, because he'll be up on stage. We can take photos of this poster board and put it up on the screen behind him so everyone can see it. So
Yeah.
he can just send me photos of the poster board and we can put it up on the screen. So, Rights to Ricky Sanchez at gmail.com. This comes from Bob, just asking, you guys have figured out that the lottery has 3 possible outcomes. approximately 30%. Lottery luck. Sixers move up to top 3 pick and draft and keep player, but have to watch Yabusele and Oubre leave. And Process 2.0 kicks off with trading of George and Embiid on February 26th. Approximately 33%. Lottery chalk. Sixers land 4, 5, 6, trade the pick and Paul George to Atlanta.
How's there a 33% chance of this happening? A 33% chance of this fake trade that I made up happening. It's canon. That is in there.
He said Paul George is this year's version of the summer of 24 Sixers as it relates to having a foundational piece, Trae Young, and lots of cap space. In return, they get Clint Capella, who is a sign and trade at MLE type money, plus a first-round pick swap in 26. Which will actually be the Spurs pick, as it is all about getting off the Paul George contract. The point of this, in addition to getting out of the contract, would be then to keep Grimes, Yabusele, and Oubre while replacing George with Capella for the, quote, final iteration of the process as we all wait for Joel. And then...
Maybe. If that happens, please, if this happens, we will have to formally apologize to Bob.
Bob. Oh, yes, of course. Yeah. I would think so.
I want this.
If that happens,
once again, loving the confidence of this. There's a 33% chance of this happening.
Well,
so
by the way,
it's
really going to take the 4, 5, or 6 pick to get off of Paul George.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think that's insane.
Yeah, I don't think
I would not. I don't think I fully processed that you would trade the pick and Paul George just to get off of it. I wouldn't do that.
No, I would not either. And then 37% lottery curse. Sixers lose out on the pick, at which point Process 2.0 kicks off with trading George and the medical retirement of Embiid in February of 26.
Followed by the 37% chance of this happening.
Yes, followed by the firing of Daryl Morey, drafting of a top pick, and free agent signings in the summer of 26.
Okay.
So, well,
that's it then, Bob. I guess I'll roll the dice and see which one we get.
Yeah, fuck
those
us.
3 singular outcomes.
If any of those happen, actually. Well, I would say the funniest one is if Paul George is really traded to Atlanta. All right, so let me ask you this. We've said the Sixers should rig it, right? I mean, they should find a way to rig this.
Yeah.
Josh Harris should spend the money to rig it.
Yeah.
Please rig it, $1 billion to save the franchise.
Yes.
Really small price.
Yes.
I wanted to get your thoughts on...
If we win...
Yes.
And Josh tells us somehow that he rigged it, we will take the Joe Buck, Troy Aikman, Josh Harris handshake out of the podcast intro. We'll take it out. Everything's a negotiation. So if you say, hey, we win, we got the one of the top picks, we kept it, and you let us know that like we rigged it a little bit, we'll take it out.
Just rig it a little.
Just rig it a little bit.
Rig it a little bit.
And the players are making it easier for them to rig with the fact that they are now in the 5 spot, which is a massive deal for keeping the pick in some regard.
We're not asking you to rig it from 12 to 1. Right. We're asking you to rig it from 5 to 1. It's totally believable.
12 to 1 would be crazy.
Yeah.
I would never ask you to do that, but I am asking this.
Yeah. Okay. So we can both give our numbers. Speaking of rigging it, if 10 is the NBA will definitely rig it for this team, and 1 is the NBA will never rig it for this team.
Yeah.
Go through the teams in the lottery and see where they would be rig it scale. So the Jazz, I think, are like a 2. It is a small market. They've been blatant about their tanking. I don't think they've done anything to deserve rigging. So I would have them at like a 2, 2.5. Where would you have them?
So I disagree, and I think it's because Cooper Flagg is white.
All right.
Utah is maybe the whitest fan base. Danny Ainge is a complete motherfucker. And I think that Danny Ainge will be doing devilish things to get the number 1 pick here.
Why does it keep doing the little thumbs up on your screen?
Is it? Sorry, I was looking at the lottery standing. I like that. I guess that is Danny Ainge communicating through StreamYard.
Yeah.
That he is going to rig it. So I would say more this is closer to like a 6 for me.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wizards, they can't have Cooper Flagg in Washington. That is a disastrous franchise.
Do you think that there is, because there's been turnover with the Wizards,
yes,
front office wise. Do you think that DC has some sleeping giant potential in as far as like NBA, free agency and power playing goes? In
terms of that players would want to live there?
Yeah. And that they could be, sort of like in line with Chicago. People talk about Chicago being a sleeping giant because they just have obviously horrible ownership, and when they were good, they were obviously singular and maybe one of the most best-known brands of all time because of MJ. But
They're kind of fun now, by the way.
the Bulls,
Yeah.
I guess.
Bruzelis is awesome.
Yeah, he seems fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's
Kobe
fine.
White's good.
Mm-hmm.
Giddy's good now.
Yeah, we'll see in the playoffs.
I think they could beat the Cavs.
No,
I think they could. I think the Cavs are fraudulent.
that's such a spike take.
Well,
Well,
fraudulent until they're not
If
fraudulent.
you're right, I'll apologize to you and to Bob.
okay. Even though Bob didn't say anything about
Bob didn't
it.
say anything about this, but I'll apologize to him too.
The thing about DC is that it's not a real city. Like there's not like a wave of people that are from there. It's a weird
But the
town.
DC area, like if you include Maryland and Virginia, like is part of it. Alexandria, Potomac, all that stuff.
I guess. I don't know. Not
Baltimore.
Chicago's a real city. DC's not. I don't know. I would have the Wizards very low on the Riggett rankings.
I might say 4.
Okay. Hornets. Now here's where I think it gets dangerous. They like rewarding new owners. The Hornets have new ownership.
Okay.
I think it's not a power market, but Charlotte Hornets being good, I think would be good. And what's
Explain
that?
that. Why would that be good?
I don't know. They're cool. It's North Carolina. It's a good basketball city. The guy is going to Duke. They're in North Carolina.
Okay, the Duke connection.
Like
sure.
I would put that, and the new ownership is big to me. I would put the Hornets. They haven't been good in a while.
Yeah.
I would put the Hornets at like 7 on the Riggett scale.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Because the thing about LaMelo is I think the NBA and people around the league don't like him, but his like kids love him.
Yes.
Like the LaMelo jersey rankings are crazy high. And I do think that it might be profitable to put them together. This is compelling. I was considering having them quite low, but as you're saying it, I might change it and say, I'll go with you and say new owners. I think that's rig potential. I'll go 7 as well.
Okay. We'll get to the rest of the teams after we tell you about LL Pavorsky Jewelers, our first sponsor. LL texted me this morning. First of all, he texted me. I'll tell you about LL's text real quick. That he just shipped a diamond engagement ring to a Ricky listener in Australia. Mm-hmm. Hey, yo, that's like, I don't know, number 430 something of Rights to Ricky Sanchez listeners.
Is he bringing that himself?
What, the ring?
Yeah.
No, he shipped it.
For enough money,
Oh, yeah. What'd he bring
would
it
you
there?
pay LL to bring it yourself?
Somebody asked me on the trip on Fly the Process if we could do a live Ricky in a different city.
I don't think so.
But here is the thing that I brought up. There are enough Ricky people in Australia
Oh my God.
that if a sponsor would pay for all of us to go,
Jesus Christ.
I would go to Australia to do a lot. There are definitely enough. We could do for 100 people in Australia. For sure, we could draw 100 people.
I'm still jet lagged from Japan. You're making me go to Australia to do a podcast?
By the way,
That would be fun. That'd be funny.
somebody emailed that during daylight saving time, you have a 23-hour time adjustment.
That's right. I take all the time I need.
Anyway, LL reminded me also that 5 years ago today was the Ricky 5-hour Zoomathon, where we did, and I had a mead, a mead every hour. 5 years. Can you believe that was 5 years ago?
Yeah, it's me and Alyssa's. Yesterday is me and Alyssa's 10-year dating anniversary.
Oh, so it was right around then.
Yeah.
How about that?
How about it?
So there you go. LL Pavorsky Jewelers. I don't know what any of that had to do with you getting an engagement ring from LL.
Well, dating anniversary, which we now no longer celebrate.
There you
because
go.
we got married because of LL.
Do you know my wife and I still celebrate dating anniversary because it's on the same day as our wedding anniversary?
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
nice.
Yep. LL, if you're going to get an engagement ring from anyone, it's got to be LL. Even if you weren't going to get an engagement ring, get one from LL. Find somebody to love. He's just that good. Appointment only, so he can give you the proper attention and love. Call him, 215-627-2252. Email him, lee@llpavorsky.com. You tweet him at @llpavorsky. That's store at 707 Walnut. is fucking legendary. What, 37 years in business? Holy shit. Supporter of our charities, Providence Animal Center and Mama T's Community Fridge, LL Pavorsky Jewelers.
Has a 24-hour jet lag because he's in the future. And the future is jewelry.
The Pelicans.
I think 0.
Bad NBA city, poorly run franchise.
Yep.
Good city, but bad NBA city.
Sure. Yeah. Nothing against the city.
Yeah, I would say 0 as well. Here we are. We're next. The Sixers.
This is really tough, dude.
Yeah.
Because it could go either way.
Yeah. Do
that's
they
why
hate us? And is it a 0? Or do they feel bad that they fucked with us so much and we're in a big enough city that we could use it?
I don't think they feel bad enough.
Yeah, I don't think they do either.
I'm ringing the embarrassed bell.
Yeah.
I'm jumping out my window, going to the top of the tallest tower and ringing the embarrassed bell, lighting the beacons of embarrassment for the NBA to feel ashamed of what they've done.
Yep.
For the Colangelo thing, we never got properly paid off for that. I would like to get paid off.
I would like to get paid off as well.
And yeah, the injuries, even Joel doing the U.S. a solid and playing for the American national team.
Yeah.
I would very much, I think we deserve it.
Yep.
Maybe not the team or the organization.
We
but
do.
We do.
Think of the fans.
Think of the fans. I'm always saying think of the fans.
Yep. You're a big fan guy.
I just think we have now won the lottery or finished top 3 several times. So it's not like we're due. I do think the Sixers are like pretty close. They've gotten the number 1 pick, I think, as many times as any other team. And so what I'm saying is, why not one more?
One more. We need this so badly.
One last ride.
We didn't do anything wrong. Like it wasn't. We supported
that's
Hanky.
That's not technically true. We've made some mistakes.
Yeah.
But still, we deserve it because we're still here.
The
fact that we're still here, doing a podcast, going on 13 years.
Yes.
Does really desperately bad year. We must come out of it with something good. And I'm telling Josh Harris, who we have been nothing but nice to. I've never said anything about his thin lips. I'm asking you to rig it. Whatever tax loophole that you are benefiting from, any lobbyist shit, take the money from that, pay off whoever.
Yep.
Rig
it.
Tim Riggins. Rig that shit.
Rig it.
Get out of here. Do you think that the NBA hates the Sixers, or are they Sixers total thorn in the side because of Daryl's general demeanor?
I think they hate us. I think they hate the Sixers. I think our only hope is sort of like a game theory result in which they give it to us just to convince everybody that they don't actually have anything against us.
Okay.
Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But to actually help us, I don't think they actually want to help us.
Because so Jared McCain, Duke, Cooper Flagg, Duke. Mm-hmm. Duke is the most hated college basketball team.
Yep.
Cooper Flagg is hateable.
Absolutely.
In the kind of way that Christian Laettner was. I don't know. Do they think the microphone is a thumb? That I'm giving thumbs up to it? Is that why it keeps popping up?
Did it do another one?
It did another one, yeah.
Okay.
I think that the Sixers don't share winningness with Duke as a culture.
No.
But plenty of people hate the Sixers.
Yep.
And so you put Cooper Flagg on the Sixers, him and Jared McCain are a little Duke tandem.
Yep.
And you kind of could just go, all right, most hated team.
Yeah, what a bunch of little bitches they are or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think Jared McCain is not hateable. I think if you hate Jared McCain, you got other stuff going on. Seems just like a lovely, likable young man.
Good guy.
But Cooper Flagg, he plays in your face. He plays physical. He's a motherfucker. But McCain is on the court as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't tell. I can't tell what it's going to be. But that's the thing, is that you need to take the NBA out of it. You need to take the NBA, Adam Silver's personal grievances out of it. And you need to be Josh Harris and say, what is the number? What is it going to take?
How much does it cost?
write a number on a piece of paper, slide it across a diner booth,
Yep.
and I will pay that number.
Yeah. How much could it be?
Simple as that.
You have so much money.
So much money.
Endless money.
Sell the devils.
Sell them. Or how about this? Charge $2 extra for every Devils ticket next year and use that money to rig the lottery.
Or just give whoever wins the lottery,
Yeah.
say there's like a secret lottery beforehand, and like the owner of the Pelicans win.
Okay.
Just go to the owner of the Pelicans before the real lottery starts and go, you want the Devils?
And just give them the Devil.
And just give them the Devils.
Yeah.
So if the Sixers got like 6 or 7, let's say 7,
Yep.
we will trade you 7 and the New Jersey Devils
What a deal.
for 1.
Just to rig it.
Just to rig it.
Just to rig it.
Simple as that.
Yeah. There you go. So where are you putting the Sixers? I'm putting them at like a 3. Unless Josh Harris rigs it.
I don't know. I really don't have a sense of it. I'm too close. And that's why I need it to not be, you got to take it out of their hands.
Right.
Take it in your own hands.
And just rig it. The Nets.
I think pretty high. I mean, they
It's New York.
finally giving Brooklyn like a, even the Durant, Harden, Kyrie situation just felt so rented
Yep.
that giving them a homegrown drafted superstar. I should probably know this, but who is the best player that the Brooklyn Nets have ever drafted?
Brooke Lopez.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's Jersey.
Jersey Nets.
I'm
the
saying
Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah. CJ, put it in the chat if there's an obvious answer to this. But it feels like they've never had really an elite type player that they've
In Brooklyn.
Brooklyn
Net.
that
Yeah.
they've drafted and developed and held on to it.
Yeah.
CJ hasn't put anything yet, so I'm assuming he just has Jack.
Jared Allen is the only other all-star.
Yeah, and they traded him right away so they could start
Yeah.
DeAndre Jordan.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah.
So I think I might say 10 for Brooklyn.
Wow.
Which
10.
I'm, now I'm getting greedy and wanting Cooper Flagg, but if the Nets jump from 6 to 1 and the Sixers just go from 5 to 6, I'm okay with that. I just need a top 6 pick, really. at the end of
I
the
want
day.
one. I'm getting greedy.
I understand. I'm greedy also, but in the bargaining session that I'm currently in now,
Right.
the
With
fact that
yourself
the Sixers
as well.
are right. The
Yeah.
fact that we're currently, we were hovering around 7 and we had to jump, and then it became 6, and it's like, okay, we just have to hold, and now it's 5. We can drop one spot and still keep the pick if one team from behind us jumps. So,
The Raptors, 0%. Who cares? It's Canada. Nobody cares. Nobody wants to play there. 0.
I would want to play in Toronto. I wouldn't not want to play there. Seems like a good city.
Yeah.
Haven't been.
I don't think players want to play there.
There's a lot of room to be the guy between like Scotty Barnes and Emmanuel Quickley, who are both like
Fine.
fine to good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like with Masai's reputation of being like a wizard at this stuff, they're just they've been aimless for so long. It feels very bizarre. So I would also say like a 1.5.
The Spurs, enough already.
Enough already.
They haven't made the playoffs in 6 years.
Wow.
They've been.
I think they could have made it this year if Wemby didn't get, the blood clot situation.
Well, and I'm sorry that, this is not negative to Wemby, because if he gets, this was interesting. One of the people on the Fly the Process was a doctor. First of all, she complimented me on my assessment of the Embiid knee thing, which immediately raised her in my view. But also she said, this Wemby thing, if he gets another one of those, his career is over. Like,
yeah, that's happening to Chris Bosh. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got to be on blood thinners his whole life, and you get cut or something, or you get injured. It's a huge problem. But I don't feel bad for I feel bad for Wemby. I don't feel bad for the Spurs. They don't need to hedge it. They already have like potentially the best player in the NBA on that team. Pop is annoying.
He's been out with after a stroke.
I'm sorry, but then he should retire. We talk about Hubie Davis needing to retire. Hubie Brown, rather. Yeah, Hubie Davis. I'm sure he can still coach for a while. Hubie Brown, nothing bad happened to him. And he didn't miss the playoffs for 6 straight years. Yeah. Spurs, it better be a 1. It better be a 1. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Man, that would be evil. That would be like a Wembanyama heel turn if they rig it. And it's like Flagg Wemby as a 4-5. That would be very good on a basketball level, and maybe outside of a healthy Sixers team, like the best fit for Flagg.
Yeah.
But that would be evil. That would be like, NWO Wolfpack type stuff.
Yeah. I don't want it. No. Blazers, no chance.
I don't know. Blazers a little bit deserve.
Do they? Why? Because of Dame?
No, I would say because I'm not saying from a league perspective. I'm saying more karmically.
Oh, karma. Yeah.
They've played better this year. They've tried to win games. Scoot Henderson has gotten better and continues to. Bunch of just like decent players putting it together. They didn't sell it. They're kind of like quote unquote doing it the right way. And there are still young guys on their team that are playing well. Like they're probably going to run out of season, but they had a chance to sneak into the play-in.
Sure.
They if they were in the East, they would be 1 game back of the play-in. So I think that the NBA might want to reward that and go like, hey, you don't have to. The NBA is so hooked on this idea of like they're so concerned about tanking and stuff, and I think that they might want to, like the Hawks jumped from I think it was 9 last year.
Mm-hmm.
I could see them trying to jump another team from in the 9-10 range and go like, see the flattened lottery odds. You don't need to do it.
It helps. It does help, right?
Yeah. But I also think, like, we've had this conversation a million times. I just don't think, obviously the league as like a brand should not like tanking. I understand
it's horrible
for the league.
Yes.
But like for teams and for players and for fans, I do think it is good, and most people aren't actually upset. I understand why the
How's
league
it good
would be
for
like,
players?
because then the players are still getting paid no matter what. So like Maxey, Paul George, they can sit and rest and maybe extend their career after this. Like
but
whoever.
Lauri Markkanen has basically missed 2 years of his career.
For sure, he can demand a trade if he wants to.
Well, sure, but then he has to demand a trade. And
I was saying more. I wasn't thinking along the lines of like the best or star-ish players. I was saying more for the lower guys in the league, like, you know, Lonnie Walker getting a chance to come back and play NBA minutes, and that being across the board, happening more and more. Okay, now it's gone from a thumb up to an explosion.
Are you at the prom?
Yeah, I'm at prom. I'm at Mexico prom.
Oh, you got to see this, by the way. If you're only listening, you should go and watch.
Thumbs are popping up left and right. But I think the fans, it's like the thing to me, people being like, think of the fans, which is what I made a joke about earlier. It is you are so capable of not watching. It is so easy for a fan to go, oh, my team is tanking. I will stop watching. I will stop paying for it. I will not get season tickets next year. Like the Sixers are unlucky in this sense, in that this figured to be a good year, obviously, and it wasn't. So if you bought season tickets for this year, now you feel like a little bit screwed, but that is not, I would say, the Sixers' fault, aside from like things happen by accident. Whereas if you're like a Jazz fan or a Wizard or any other team, like you can just be like, oh, I'm not going to renew my season tickets next year because they're going to be horrible and it'll be a waste of time. And then at the end of this, you can go, I'm going to check back in. We got a top 3 pick. Now I have this better player to root for rather than...
I think if you're going into the season knowing, I think it's the teams that you expect to be good and then they turn. Yeah. I think that sucks.
That's unfortunate. You know?
And
but
really,
what's the alternative? Is like the Sixers were going to suck anyway.
Well, what
like
they
whether
should
do. Whether or not they started sitting, you know, Yabusele more than they should have. Like,
well, Maxey and Paul George. I mean, like, I'm sorry, Sixers organization and NBA, but those guys, if the team was good, would be playing right now. It's they would be. I'm sorry. I know they're gonna get mad at me, but like they would be. And if I had purchase season tickets, I'd be like, I don't know. I didn't fucking pay $10,000 this year to see fucking Jared Butler. And,
I'm just not a season tickets guy.
I know. You know what it is? It's like, if they really wanted to fix it, they could fix it. They could just make the odds completely flat. The only issue at that point would be teams maybe tanking to get out of the play-in.
Yeah.
But they could do that now. So I don't know. There are ways to fix it. They're just not that interested in fixing it. What they're really interested in, and this was the counter to MOC's article about the rules about all-stars playing and blah, 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 is not about tanking teams. It's about they want good teams, players to play, not the tanking teams. I think the NBA's bigger issue is why is the list of players not playing in every game like 9 players long? Why is that?
I mean, it's just, but I understand it on the level. Like, you see so many guys get hurt. Like, if you're OKC, you're 12, 14 games up on the 2 seed. Like, what is the reason to like risk more wear and tear on your best players?
Right.
What is it? And you don't really get this in any other sport. Like in baseball, you accept that, Bryce Harper is going to take a day off once a week or two.
Yeah. But they play twice as many games.
That's just part of it. But they play twice as many games, but it's also like a significant less running around. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And jumping and turning and twisting and all that stuff. But yeah, it's a hard problem to solve. I would say one of the easiest things would be no road back-to-backs. If you are playing a back-to-back, you are at home for both of those back-to-backs. There's just no reason to me why you're making it harder, and then you're going some of those back-to-backs are on like nationally televised games, and then you get to be upset about it. It's like, dude, just don't allow that to happen. Back-to-backs at home are different than back-to-backs on the road. When you get in at like 3 a.m., it's just.
And somebody will always say, "Well, make the schedule 60 games." Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But then there will still be the relative advantage to sitting players. Like when this whole thing started with the Spurs, actually, when they beat the Cavs in the title year, this was when no player played more than 30 minutes. Is like there is a relative advantage to keeping your players fresher. And then what happened was because they did it, everyone did it. Now, if you're not doing it, you're actually at an active disadvantage.
Right.
So if they go to 60 games, it only takes one competitive team to start resting guys, for that to happen. All right, let's quickly finish up the other teams real quick. The Heat, I just want to say my new take on the Heat is Heat culture is actively bad. In that without 85-year-old Pat Riley pretending like he's a Division III college coach with all his players, they probably still have LeBron James and or Jimmy Butler, but they're so intent on, look, I think I appreciate the accountability that he wants to have, but in the NBA, it doesn't really work. So I don't think they're going to reward the Heat. I think they think the Heat are annoying. I think the Heat are annoying. So I put the Heat at like 3.5.
I don't know, man.
Oh, no.
Obviously, the Heat wouldn't be in the lottery if they win the play-in.
Yep.
And land the 7 or 8 seed.
Right.
I think if anybody's sick fuck enough to rig it, and if anything would dissuade tanking teams, at least in the eyes of the NBA, the league office, it would be the lose the play-in Jimmy Butler drama Heat.
Sure.
For just like caring about the right things.
Sure.
I could see them giving it to him. I'm gonna go 8.
And real quickly, because these teams Heat same thing, could or couldn't be in the playoffs. The Bulls, I actually think, is pretty high. I put the Bulls as 6.5. They'd be good right away with the players they already have.
Their ownership is just so fucking cheap.
Right, yeah.
They're just so cheap, and I think the NBA knows that and doesn't want to do that.
Okay, so low.
Yeah, I'll go 4.
Suns, I don't even know how to judge it.
Yeah, new team, but like they're so cap strapped.
Yeah.
The Suns. There's a version where the Suns are more depressing than the Sixers. Like just They're sort of in
it's
the
not
middle.
far away. Yeah, it's not impossible. You know,
This was obviously a horrendous season, and the Suns have obviously gotten further than the Sixers. But like where they are right now, at least they have new ownership. But I don't know if they like that guy. I don't know. I think everyone just sort of
I'm
gonna
like
look
this.
the other way and
Yeah.
go like, no thanks, no thanks to the Suns.
Two more, only one of them's interesting. The Kings is not interesting. I don't think they would mind if they got it. I also don't think they're going to force it there. I don't think they're going to rig it for the fucking
God,
King.
If the Kings get Cooper Flagg, it will be a right away ESPN graphic. Cooper Flagg asking out of Sacramento, like right away, like
going back to
instantly.
Duke.
That'll come out. Yes, during the draft, he's gonna be putting the Kings hat on, and there's gonna be like Stephen A. in a little box, being like, he's got to ask out, demand a trade right away. Like it's gonna happen right away.
And the interesting one is the Mavericks.
Oh my God,
Could you imagine?
Jesus Christ!
Could you imagine?
That would be I think people would hit the streets. I think people are protesting.
They would know it was rigged.
I think that's rig central. That is, I mean,
It's like the Knicks. It's like
NBA
the Knicks
Illuminati
winning the Patrick Ewing.
to trade Luka in the most like stunning middle of the night. Absolutely no. I'm constantly having to tell people like I don't think there's a conspiracy. I think that the GM was just like very emotional and like I don't know, nutritional sick fuck, and thought that he's more important to the Mavericks than the guy that just single-handedly brought them to the championship in his prime.
Yeah.
And there's not some like NBA is trying to, they traded him so that they could move the team. They're trying to move the team from Dallas. And that's, well, why would you move? If you're trying to move the team, you wouldn't trade your best player for a worse player. That's not.
They're not moving the team. That's that has always been the funniest conspiracy theory. Actually.
It just doesn't, like, where does it go?
It doesn't track. Yeah.
I'm not saying that they're not doing it. Maybe they are. Maybe they are trying to move to Vegas. Who knows?
Well,
but I'm not saying like
not
the
that
Luka
owners,
trade does not like
No, it doesn't make
portend
it
that.
quicker.
No.
Yeah. There was a guy tried to convince me of it. He's like, well, that way attendance will go down and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, dude. And by the way, not that owners can't lie, but the owner specifically said afterwards, he was like, I promise you 100% we are not moving to Las Vegas. This is not a good idea to try to move to Las Vegas, blah, 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 blah. But I'm still putting them at a 9.
wow.
Yeah. They're going to rig it.
This would then flip me onto the conspiracy side. If
Yeah.
the Mavs win, I would be like 100% conspiracy minded.
Yep. They're going to rig it.
It'd be Adam Silver with the glowing red eyes. Like that would be something. Something would be fucking up there, dude.
Yep.
But I'm just saying, Josh Harris, you need to be better than all of these people at rigging. These
Way
are your
better.
These are your rigging competition.
Yes. Rig
Make it
it.
happen.
Rig
Rig
it.
that shit, dog.
Rig it. All right.
Oh, feels good.
Well,
Season's almost over. 5 seed. Let's go.
Yeah. We only have like a week left of the season, week and a half, something like that. It's wild. Let's get that 5. Let's fuck around and get the 4 seed.
Wow. Come on, pals.
Let's fuck around and get the 4 seed. All right. We'll talk to you next time. Enjoy White Lotus, Mexico, Mike. Are you down with TTP?
Yes, as I'm unbuttoning all of my buttons.
Oh, there you go.
You know, lick face.